How's it going, y'all? Titan Smash MTG. Today we're back with some more MTG Kaldheim discussion. I'm going to talk about the 10 cards that I am most excited for brewing around in Kaldheim Standard. Now, before we begin, I know y'all are probably missing the gameplay videos. I apologize for that. Just with the new Standard coming up here pretty soon, I don't be playing much old Standard anymore. So we'll be talking about new stuff here, getting into some new decks pretty soon. But for now, I'm talking about the 10 decks, 10, that I look forward to brewing in Kaldheim. A reminder for those of you who are new, I do 10 new decks for every Standard whenever a new set releases, so the day that all these stuff is spoiled, I'll have my video up of 10 different lists for Kaldheim Standard. That usually is one of my better performing videos, ones people like a lot. So if you want some new deck lists, get some ideas, I try to have these out before anybody else does. So looking forward to getting that out there and showing y'all. Without further discussion, let's talk about 10 different cards I'm looking forward to brewing around in Kaldheim. We'll be throwing them up right over here. Let's take a look at those. Let's get at it. Let's go. So these 10 cards aren't in any super particular order. There's kind of an order here, but we'll go ahead and start off at number 10. It is Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider. This is a 6 mana 6/6 with Trample and Haste, legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. If you put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. If an opponent would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put half that many of each of those counters on permanent or player instead. Rounded down. So what this means is any saga your opponent controls are dead. They try to put a counter on their saga, so whether they try to ECD you or one of the new sagas, and there's a lot of good ones here, they get 0 counters. Their saga essentially just sits there and does nothing. Say they try to put a Planeswalker on the battlefield. It comes in with half its loyalty counters. Say they're playing a tokens deck, a counters deck, and they're putting +1/+1 counters on there. If they're trying to put one counter on there, that turns to 0. So this thing shuts them down in that regard. On our end, however, say we play a Planeswalker of any sort, doubling season, baby. We're getting double the amount of counters on there. Say we're putting some combat trick kind of stuff, put some +1/+1 counters, double that up. It's just, at least, you put twice the amount. This thing just does so much, but even without all that, it still is just a 6 mana 6/6 Trample Haste. It's a big, fast, tramply, mean boy. Maybe it's a girl, I don't know. But Vorinclex just has so much utility with it and a lot of different ways to build it that I think this is one that has to be included in the list. And it's fun because I think you can throw this into like a mono green stompy kind of list and just be aggressive. Or if you want to have a kind of super friends kind of thing, have this sitting out there. Any creature you throw down is probably about ready to ultimate already, and that's just kind of insane. So Vorinclex, very interesting, very cool card, right up my alley. Look forward to brewing on this one. Let's go to number 9. So number 9 I look forward to brewing around here is Niko Aris. This is the new Planeswalker. This is double blue and white and X. So technically a 3 mana walker, though the X you can pay whatever you want to there. Legendary Planeswalker Niko. When Niko Aris enters the battlefield, create X shard tokens. +1. Up to one target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Whenever that creature deals combat damage this turn, return it to its owner's hand. -1. Niko Aris deals 2 damage to target tap creature for each card you've drawn this turn. And another -1, create a shard token. This comes in with 3 starting loyalty. I want to build around this one. Now I'll preface by saying, those of you who know the channel already, I'm not much of an Azorius player. It's just not really my play style. I like aggressive decks for the most part. But I like tempo and things like that, and I think this is where this card kind of shines. I don't think this card really goes in just a tap-out blue-white control deck. It just doesn't really work in that regard. You really want to be able to take advantage of that +1. So I think you're going to be playing a deck with a lot of tempo kind of things that can bounce things. Maybe things like Gadwick you can hit with and return to your hand and cast again later to draw more cards. Things like Skyclave Apparition, that you take their thing, that you go ahead and swing in the Skyclave Apparition. Sure, they'll get a little, 1 to 4 power token they get back, but then you just play Skyclave again, take something else that's more important, and you just kind of keep that value up while plusing your Planeswalker is really nice. And also, the shards seem pretty nice. They're enchantments, you pay 2 to sacrifice it, you scry 1 and draw a card. Pretty much any deck's going to be okay with an effect like that. It's really nice. This also plays really well with Archon of Sun's Grace because these are enchantments. So when these enchantments enter the battlefield, you start making a bunch of Pegasus or whatever they are on that card. I don't recall. But yeah, Niko Aris is a very interesting, very cool design Planeswalker, one we haven't really seen like this in a while. I think this is the first one minus the Nisa Steward Elements or whatever that has X in the cost. So curious to see how people build around this one. I think this is a good card. This is one that I've seen a lot of discussion on online. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's interesting, and I think built correctly, this is a really nice one. I may not be the person to build it correctly, but somebody will. But number 9, Niko Aris, very cool card. Look forward to building around this one. Let's go down to number 8. So number 8 on my countdown is a card that I don't think is super amazing, but this is just a card that I'm a sucker for, and I'll probably end up trying in one of my decks I build. But this is Waking the Trolls. This is their 6 mana Gruul enchantment. So 4 red-green for a saga. Number 1, destroy target land. Number 2, put target land from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Chapter 3, choose target opponent. If they control fewer lands than you, create a number of 4/4 green Troll Warrior creature tokens with trample equal to the difference. So let's kind of go chapter by chapter and look at this. For one, this is 6 mana, so it better do a lot. Chapter 1, you destroy target land. That's not crazy exciting, but with the mana as well as it is right now in Standard and kind of spicy, I think that, getting to pick any land is pretty nice. Maybe you get people kind of screwed off their colors, or, mana just hurting them a little bit. If you're playing an aggressive deck and you're able to kind of control the battlefield early on, have some board wipes, and then you just take one of the lands away and make the resources even lower, you're really hurting them there. But also, there's things like the World Tree that I'm sure people will be brewing around and playing. Getting to destroy a World Tree seems pretty good. Number 2, put target land card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. So not only did you destroy their land last turn, this turn you can take that land and give it to yourself, or another land if you want to, if there's a better one in the graveyard somewhere. But it also, so you're kind of doing double duty of taking their land away chapter 1 and then ramping yourself on chapter 2. So really getting a nice little advantage there, and then you still play your big spells with that mana that you just got. Chapter 3, though, choose target opponent. If they control fewer lands than you, which they should because you've blown up their lands and ramped, create a number of 4/4 green Troll Warrior tokens with trample. So say you're playing against mono red and you've lived to see the day and cast this, and you destroy their land, you get one of theirs, you wipe them again or something like that, and then they're stuck with, 3-4 lands. You're up here with 7 or 8 by this time, and you're making 3 or 4 4/4 trampling tokens. A lot of decks are just going to get stonewalled by that and not have a way out. So I think this card is super cool, really nice design. Don't even get into things you can do with Yorion of just blinging this over and over and destroying a bunch of lands and be a land destruction deck. But there's some play here somewhere with this card. I'm not sure where. Again, this may not be the best card. This card may not even be good or playable at all. But I'm going to try it because I'm that kind of person. So that's number 8. Let's move down the list to number 7. First 7 card I look forward to building around is Narfi, Betrayer King. This is 3 blue and a black, so a 5 mana 4/3 legendary snow creature, zombie wizard. Other snow and zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. So we get a Snow Lord, which is something interesting since we do have some snow creatures and things like that in the set. It's a Snow Lord for 5 mana 4/3. That's not super great, right? The last part of text on this is you pay 3 snow mana and you return Narfi, Betrayer King from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. 2 things about this. For one, 3 mana to return this to the battlefield is really, really good. Just getting your Lord effect back online is really nice. They try to Heartless Act it or kill it, you just get it back again for 3 mana. And these kind of decks will be playing a lot of snow mana anyway, so that snow mana shouldn't be too trivial. But also, I don't see anything about there saying when you can do this. You can do this at instant speed. So say it's your end step, they just killed you. Just pay your 3 mana, get it back on the battlefield. Next turn, you got the pumps going on, swing it again. So I think this card itself is really cool, but more importantly, I think this is the enabler that Snow, something like a Sultai or Simic Snow deck kind of wanted. We've seen Jorn already. That's another one I'm excited to build around. But I think Sultai Snow is a real deck. It's one of the ones I'll be talking about in my 10 decks video. Spoiler alert. But I think this is a big piece of getting this card. It's really, really nice there. So Narfi, Betrayer King, going to be a player in Standard. I do believe if Snow is worth it, I'm ready to play around this card. Let's move down the list to number 6. So number 6 is kind of cheesy because I'm choosing multiple cards here, but all elves. And I'll say this, I'm not an elf person in any kind of format. It's just not really my style of creature to play. But the elves they released in this set have been really cool so far. They have a lot of good enablers. And the day they revealed Herald and Herald Unites the Elves, that's when I was like, all right, we building elves. And funny enough, me and my buddy MTG Joe, I'm sure a lot of you know him, we both made decks. I made mine first, by the way, Joe. But we both made Golgari Elves decks, and we ended up being like 4 cards off of each other from the exact 60. So great minds think alike there. But the one I'm excited about the most is Herald Unites the Elves. This is 2 Black-Green Saga. Number 1, mill 3 cards. You may put an Elf or Tyvar card from the graveyard onto the battlefield. Tyvar being the Elf Planeswalker in this set, but also just any Elf onto the battlefield on Chapter 1. I got a call there. But yeah, any kind of Elf or Tyvar on the battlefield Chapter 1 is really, really nice. There's not a huge amount of big elves that I know of in Standard right now, so we can't super cheat that first chapter there. But still, just you have so many elves with a really good utility that you can bring back with this. It's nice. Number 2, put a +1/+1 counter on each elf you control. We had the Elvish War Master revealed early on in the leaks, making the little 1/1 elf tokens. Getting to put counters on all these makes it really, really nice. Pump up the crowd, get to swinging. Chapter 3. When an elf you control attacks this turn, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. If you thought Embercleave Math it was bad in combat, just wait till this goes off and they have a board full of elves. You can potentially attack in and just chop their board to pieces. This thing is disgusting. For a 4-mana saga, I think this does so much work in every chapter, something that Elves wants to do. I think this card is absolute gas and it's going to see a lot of play. If Elves is a deck, this is a 4 of, and there's no getting around that. So Elves in general, I think Golgari Elves has the really, really nice, you have your green Elves, you have your black removal. Happiness, baby. You love to see it. But I think Elves is going to be good. Excited to brew it. Excited to play with that in the early access event. Let's go. We're getting down to the top 5, so let's look at number 5. Don't know what that was. Card number 5 that I am looking forward to brewing around most is Cosmos Charger. This is 3 to blue, so a 4-mana 3/3 flash flyer. Foretelling cards from your hand cost 1 less and can be done on any player's turn. Foretell 3. Now, a couple things here. So you pay the 2 mana foretell this. You can foretell cast this on turn 3 on your end step. So you have a 3/3 flyer for 3, which is nice. Granted, you've invested 5 mana into it, but you're still playing this out on turn 3. And then from there, foretelling your card costs 1 less every time. So this is going to reduce the cost of all your creatures done this way a lot. And doing it on any player's turns means you can just do some kind of nutty stuff with this card. So while this card on its face isn't super, super good, I think we're going to be able to get enough foretell creatures or enough foretell cards that are playable. That if there's if those cards exist and they're good enough, this will see some play somewhere. I think it's a very cool design, a very cool card. The art's beautiful. But if foretell decks are going to be a thing, this has to be a key player in it. So looking forward to trying this one out, at least to see if it's good enough or not. Maybe it's not good enough. Maybe it's bad. Who knows? But I'm going to try it out. Let's go down to number 4. 4 is when we really start to get down to cards that you all will not be surprised at all that I like. This is the Titan Smash MTG corner of cards we love. Number 4 is Toralf. Toralf? I'm not sure how you say his name. God of Fury. This is a 4-mana 5/4 trample, which is already just fine on its own anyways. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, Toralf deals damage equal to the excess to any target other than the permanent. So this kind of goes in like burn decks kind of thing. Any kind of thing you're going to be doing non-combat damage with. So you got a 1-power creature, you deal 3 damage to it. That means that other 2 damage can go to the face. That 2 damage can go pick off another creature. Whatever you want to do there, that excess damage is going to hurt something else. So it just gives you so much more versatility in your burn spells and all the things like that. Its backside here, Toralf's Hammer is a 2-mana legendary artifact equipment. Equip creature has 1 and a red to tap. Unattached Toralf's Hammer, it deals 3 damage to any target. Return it to its owner's hand. Equip creature has +3/+0 as long as it's legendary. And it costs 2 to equip. So the backside I'm not super, super crazy on. It is kind of nice just late game if you need to start doing something like this and bold it. You can do that. Now granted, you have to have a creature around as well, which is a little bit difficult. But, it has play. But I think the main thing you're playing this for is the first side of it. And Toralf just getting to throw this damage around just makes for some crazy, crazy scenarios. You go into combat and all your burn spells they just do so much work. Because a lot of times, say when you have a Bone Crusher Giant, even a mono red right now, there's these circumstances where you want to bolt the face, but you have to save it for a creature. Well, maybe now you can use these spells to kind of hit a creature, then any excess damage done that way, can sling it onto the face then. So I think Toralf's a very cool, very interesting card. I'm ready to see some people smarter than me especially make this just absolutely busted. But Toralf is super duper sweet. We're getting down to top 3, y'all. Let's look at number 3. So for number 3 here, speaking of just kind of red busted cards that don't need much help, we have Goldspan Dragon at number 3. This is a 5-mana 4/4 flying haste dragon. So that already, we got a glory bringer here. Whenever Goldspan Dragon attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token. So automatically, no matter what, you're getting a treasure token somehow because either they are targeting this removal or you're attacking. So treasure token there. Treasure you control have tap it, sacrifice this artifact, add 2 mana of any one color. There's so many ways you can build this. This can be the top end of a Gruul deck where you just beat down and then you have that mana left over to do something. This can be something like a tempo deck where you're able to hold up negate when you attack and then this automatically have this thing that protects itself really well. Or you can just go all combo heavy with a bunch of pump spells. Most pump spells are 1 to 2 mana anyway. You play this and attack and just start pumping. Make a treasure token. Pump it again. Make a treasure token. And you just keep on doing this and just kill them. Just kill them dead. This is what this card does, is kill people. Goldspan Dragon seems mega sweet. Really excited to see this one and how it plays out. But I think this is just a super fun, super cool card. Goes in a lot of shells. We'll see where we throw it in. I want to try something like an Is It Tempo list, so maybe for my 10 decks, that'll be one of them with a Goldspan Dragon. Notably, this also works well with Magda that we saw early in spoiler season if we get more dwarves. So, a lot of things we can see here. Let's see if we get some. 2 cards left. Let's get down to number 2. So for number 2 here, I am both excited but also terrified for this card for what it could possibly do. I made my Why Kaldheim and I Standard video and mentioned no bans, but if there is a card that's going to get banned, I predict it's this one. This is In Search of Greatness. This is a green enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among other permanents you control without paying that spell's mana cost. If you don't, scry 1. So every turn, you're either scrying 1 or you're paying something for free. And that's the thing. We talked about this. Wizards always seem to throw one card in there with this disgusting text that you may cast this without paying its mana cost. And it seems to cause a lot of problems. Well, this is only 2 mana, and it works super easily. Now, it requires you have this permanent on the battlefield. It requires you have something +1 CMC in your hand. So, it's definitely some setup and work for it. But just so much incidental value if you just curve out with this that it's insane. So this scares me. I'm excited to play around with this. And it's important to say that it says permanent spell and not just creatures. So, just another little spoiler alert. I'm making the Jund Super Friends list right now. At the 5 mana, you got your Vivians. At the 4 mana, you have Chandra and Little Garruk. At 6 mana, you have Big Garruk. At 7 mana, you've got Tibalt. At 8 mana, you got Ugin. If these are in your hands, you're just putting them on the battlefield for free with this thing. And if you don't have them in your hand, you're scrying to make your draws more fluid to make it work that way. This card's real good, y'all. And I'm afraid of what it may do in Standard, but I'm going to try it out. And if it's busted, I'm at least going to play with it a little while before they take it away from me. So that is In Search of Greatness. Maybe I'm overthinking this card, but I think this is disgusting and possibly has ban potential. I hope not, man. Please. Please. Let's look at number 1. So for number 1 here, this will be absolutely no surprise if you follow me on Twitter, which if you don't, twitter.com/TitansMashMTG. All giant cards. Giants have been ridiculously pushed in the set, and I went around from beginning being like, oh, I hope there's some cool giants in here because it looks pretty cool, to I think giants may be actually sick. And we have a few different ways we can build giants. I'm not going to talk about all the cards here. A few cards that really excite me, and they all kind of have blue mana in them. But the Saga, Battle of Frost and Fire, 5 mana Saga, Chapter 1, Battle of Frost and Fire deals 4 damage to each non-giant creature and each planeswalker. Chapter 2, scry 3, set up your draws after you just wiped everything, see what you need to do. Chapter 3, whenever you cast a spell, convert a mana of 5 or greater this turn, draw 2 cards and discard a card. Now, you're playing this for the first chapter, the other 2 are whatever. However, this plays really well in something like a Teamer Ultimatum deck if you went this way, and Teamer already kind of works well for giants anyways because you'd love to just drop a big bunch of giants on the battlefield anyway. So you like that there. The card I'm looking forward to playing in this is Agar, the Freezing Flame. This is 1 red-blue, so a 3 mana 3/3 for a legendary giant wizard. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if a giant, wizard, or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. So this reads out as if they chump block and your giants live, you're drawing a card. And that's what you want in decks like this. You just play your big fatties, you make them have to answer them. If they're having to chump block and keep you away, then you're just getting all this card advantage and get these more just big, powerful, mean giants. We have giants that double mana production. We have giants that draw cards. We have giants that kill things. Giants have it all right now. And that's the thing is I don't know how to build it because there's so many options. If you play Jeskai, you have Realmcloak Giant access and you have a one-sided board wipe there. If you play Grixis, you get all these nice little blue cards. You get the black for Kroxa and then all the black removal. If you play Teamer, you get Ultimatum access. You get the Changeling access and things like that. So much potential here that I think there's giants is going to be a thing in Standard. So every time I see these cards, I get really excited because there's so much potential to make them work. So don't know what the best version is. I will probably try a few different versions, but I'm excited to play some giants. That's for sure. So finally, one honorable mention that I have in most of my list here, but I didn't mention it in this video, but Realmwalker is a 3 mana 2/3 Changeling Shapeshifter. I think Changelings will be huge for this set because, again, all the tribal synergies, they just kind of go in and work with anyways. But Realmwalker specifically, as it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top. So again, if we go Teamer, we're casting Giants off the top now. You put this in Elves, you're casting these Elves off the top now. This card's sweet. Changelings are sweet. I think this deserves an honorable mention. For sure. So that's what we got there. That is the 10 cards I'm most excited to brew around Kaldheim. Now, I haven't seen all the spoilers at the time of this video, so there may be another one gets released that I'm just like blown away by. We got some good 1-mana spells this morning that didn't make the cut of this video, but I'm super excited about them. I'm excited about a lot, man. This set looks super sweet. Again, we have the Early Access event coming January 27th. I'm hoping to be able to play that as soon as it starts around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll let y'all know more so before all that's out when I get to play, but I'll be playing that for sure. We'll be taking some of these decks. I believe next Tuesday is when the set is officially spoiled, so hopefully by then, that is the day that I have my video up showing all 10 decks that I've been working on. Maybe 11, maybe 12, I don't know. But we'll have some decks. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support. The hype train's getting rolling, baby, so hop on. We going for a ride. Let's go.